Hi guys, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I have some amazing messages for you today. I'm kind of excited, so sorry if my energy might be a little high for some of you. I'm actually trying to bring it down for myself too. So let's take a deep breath first, okay? Okay. I have some sage burning too, so I just have some really amazing messages today, and I'll do some oracle cards as well. And I want to get right to the messages. And I have my favorite grounding stones over here too. For those of you who are not familiar, this is the Atlantisite. It's like, it really comes off more green a lot of the time, like that green. It's got greens and purples in it. And then this is my stone from the south of France. I call it my Mother Mary stone. I found it on the ground outside the Mary Magdalene cave. So, okay, and I've shown it before. So just a few of the residual energies from late yesterday into today. 777s were coming in, 9:39 last night. And again, the show is over, say goodbye, blue skies, okay? So in a positive way, the show is over, say goodbye, came again, because I stated that yesterday, but it came up again. And also ley lines. And those ley lines not only of the earth, but of the grid and the human body, okay? So maybe something you might want to research if you're interested, but it was saying they were very important and they come up again. 11:55, 45 came up. 2442 came up several times, and then the 1051's coming up. 51's the King of Swords. I was getting to my main read for today is coming from the Divine Feminine perspective, but there's some masculine energies from last night that I just want to throw out there, because I was getting like a puppet show, or maybe school's out, so I wasn't sure about this, because I was getting like a show at school, but maybe there's someone who's in summer school doing a show, but I was getting a puppet show, or even the star of the show, like the Divine Masculine running around getting clear, checking off things from a list. Someone might be at a fair or amusement park, like at the beach or something like that. I was getting Ferris wheel, but also some depression from the rounding, like the Ferris wheel of the family, going round and round and round, you know, going around in circles. And also ringing the, you know, the toss, when you toss to get something, the ring on the cup, that was coming up. So I was definitely getting amusement parks. But I was getting the narcissistic energy coming up. Ooh, I was getting a narcissist pulling out their electric wand, ready to use it if the girls don't behave. Big Papa came up at the beach. Okay, so if this is bringing up anything for your situation, let me know. And often I see this one card with the Hierophant in it as like him not being able to connect himself with his crown. So he has this like electric wand and try to connect with the etheric realms and ETs, actually. And I just got a sour feeling from that. So there's definitely that narcissistic energy out there. Someone with an electric wand ready to use it if the girls don't behave. And I was getting Big Papa at the beach. Palm trees and a reunion, but told to keep quiet. Okay? So I don't know if some of the Divine Masculines might be having a reunion with an ex or a karmic, or be married and having a reunion with their marriage, or it could just be a reunion with family. So it doesn't have to be an intimate reunion, but there was definitely reunion energies there. But I was getting palm trees and being told to keep quiet. So something that either the Divine Masculine has to keep quiet about, or he's asking whoever he's with to keep quiet about. but getting this could be the one in domestic harmony energies. But getting the Divine Masculine wanting to steal away into the night to make magic. So he wants to get away from whatever he's in. And again, I was getting that Hierophant reverse and Empress reverse. So some very heavy negative energies. Okay, and it has to do with religion. Because we keep getting the Hierophant in a negative way as the narcissistic energy. So there's some kind of religious leader that's bad. And there's an Empress energy who supports this religious energy that's bad, like a mother or a mother-in-law type energy. And also difficult child or children was coming up. But seeing the Divine Masculine, seeing his destiny, and wanting to offer a new life at work to ease her pain, with romance and a violin I was getting. But there's some challenges. Some may be being Scrooge with their money. Some may be having back pain issues, or just betrayal issues, loyalty issues. But wanting to offer friendship to hold back some other stuff that may come out negative or nasty. I was getting the karmic energy again, using their sexuality to overshadow the Divine Feminine as the Tempress, as the Temptress. Finances and career was coming up for the Divine Masculine, and having heart-to-heart conversations. Now, I was also getting just randomly strippers were coming up, so it's possible that someone's karmic is a stripper. But also Divine Masculine may feeling bad for wounds that he may have caused in a romance with a stripper. Okay? And may be having judged them harshly. But either way, that's coming up. And obviously that's not for everyone. That's a very specific message. But I was also getting someone saying what the Emperor doesn't know won't hurt him. But I wasn't getting it. You know, sometimes the Emperor comes up as the Divine Masculine, but I wasn't getting this as the Divine Masculine. I was getting like the Divine Masculine saying what the Emperor knows. So someone who's been very controlling over him saying what the Emperor doesn't know won't hurt him. Or it could be this narcissistic person saying that as well. That someone, whatever he doesn't know won't hurt him. So there's some conflict and physical separation. Half-truths are coming out or fessing up. There's once fighting is over and secrets are out, magic happens. And I'm getting recently a lot, all the time, the Divine Masculine's meditating or doing something that's meditative. They're stuck in their emotions of their addiction to pain, whatever it is. There's some injustice of time and energy and money around him. And the Divine Feminine is talking about the suffering and the pain that they've been through. There's a King of Pentacles energy that was coming up for the Divine Masculine, doing well in the midst of negative females around them. And clearing blocks of abandonment, needing to be seen. So these are the blocks that they need to clear, is the abandonment, needing to be seen, right? Attention whores, basically, and then being a player. Being seen as one or actually being one. There's a divide with the King of Wands energy coming up, needing clarity about whatever they're hung up on. Thinking about flowers, and I was getting gold curtains or gold sails. So someone might have a sailboat with gold on it. And his trophy. So he's kind of hung up on, he's needing clarity, hung up on whatever he's hung up thinking about. And then I was just getting flowers, gold curtains, or sails. His trophy is gone. And can't make heads or tails of it. But getting the wish of a romantic tie and the harsh truth of it. So getting down to the nitty-gritty of everything. So that was from last night. So today, it was amazing. I just went through some messages, my sand art messages from yesterday and early morning today. I'm going to tell you the messages from yesterday, which I actually reviewed these after I just did my read. So, but I want to read to you first because it was energies from yesterday, and then I'll tell you about the sand art from today, and then I'll get into the read. So the sand art from yesterday, I was seeing pelvic bones and a dinosaur for sure. You know, one of the, I forget what they're called, the plant-eating dinosaur, the real tall one with the long neck. But then I was seeing that it was relating to the Kundalini snake merge, and it was literally showing me the Kundalini merging. I was seeing big footprints, something sticking to the bottom of the shoe, like someone stepped in poop, or that there was lots of rain. So they're stepping in big puddles, and you see the rain falling off their shoe as it comes up. Also seeing whale tails and maybe a hyena. I wasn't positive of what it was, but it looked like a hyena. And then I see a seed jump in an explosion as baby animals feeding from their mother's teats. I was seeing 4D murky mess on the bottom of the ocean, like all the dead at the bottom of the sea, which we're going into the 4D energies, which is purgatory basically. It is this murky business, and that's why the world's going to seem to be like this. But as the twins, as you come into your higher vibrations, this won't affect you. The seed illuminates the dragon's eye. I was also kind of seeing a rat there. And then I got brat pack and backpack. So that may resonate with different people for different reasons, and it can represent or resonate with one person, all of it. So again, the seed that jumps in the spontaneous illumination, and again I was getting in regards to the Kundalini rising, illuminates the dragon's eye, or maybe the third eye, but I was seeing a rat. So there's a rat in their midst, or a snake in their midst, and I was getting the brat pack, so maybe some brats, bratty kids around too, and also backpack. I was definitely getting hiking. So I was seeing the eye then spray and releases all over, an emotional release, like a stingray. So it was like the Kundalini rising, causing a spontaneous orgasm. So, but I was seeing a venomous snake, the Kundalini, planting a seed. As all chakras are charged, as the Kundalini retracts, filling the heart and highlighting the solar plexus and the sacral chakras. I also was seeing ETs meeting above the earth to exchange energy in order to send the next download. And I was also seeing the Rocky Mountains by the sea. And it was showing me the inlets. So when you have the big mountains, or just to not be on the outer beach, but there's like a safe haven, you know. Slightly in from the ocean is a better place to be. But I was seeing lots of Rocky Mountains at the ocean. And these inlets are safe havens. And drones over vortices. And volcanic activity, where I was seeing tons of volcanic eruptions. And poof, it's all calm. Okay, so there's definitely volcanic eruptions, but also Kundalini eruptions going on. Okay, so this is just the sand art from yesterday. And then this morning, and I'm going to show you the pictures of this because it was beautiful. Okay, so this is the sand art from today, this morning. It's literally the masculine and feminine energies as a tree of life. Okay? And then as it goes on, and it's really beautiful. You see how it becomes one huge, strong tree of life. And I just want to see, and it actually looks like two hands holding up the world, okay? But it's the tree of life, and then it goes into, just want to make sure there wasn't something else. Yeah, there was definitely something else I wanted to show you. So then you see someone standing by the tree. And there's definitely energy being exchanged. And it's growing. And then I see a heart growing out of it. So the heart's growing 3 times that day. And then look. And then I see, this is like third dimension, like Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Look. It's like literally the ET walking out of the ship. Walking out of the mouth of the ship. Okay, and these all connect with messages I was getting anyway before I read this. Okay, and look, and literally look at that. That's volcanic activity too. And that's not even the one that I'm talking about, the volcanoes. This is from today. The volcanoes was yesterday's sand. Yeah, so, yeah, and I was seeing specific etheric energies coming out of the volcanoes, so there's definitely some other dimensional creatures living within the volcanoes. And they're coming out. I was getting even like dinosaur energies. But not in a scary way or anything. You know, it's etheric. And it's beautiful. It's like the angel. It's like the angel has bent down to open their wings to support us. You see that? And there's definitely drones over here too. And a lot of ocean activity too. Waves hitting the shore. But it was really beautiful at the end. But I see a shark circling around too. Look. See the shark tail circling around in the calm water? So just watch out for the sharks. Alright, so that's all the sand stuff. So now I'm going to get into the energy from today. Excuse me. My water. Today is August 13th, 2018, so 13 is the death card. It's a portal today. I was getting a portal anyway for the Divine Masculine especially. The day adds up to 32, which is the Six of Wands, which is the leader, leading the troops on to victory, having been victorious. It actually means good news, and it's about success and having followers. Okay, or winning the prize. So we have death and the Six of Wands, which can be death of the ego for sure, especially since I'm getting portal energy coming up specifically for the Divine Masculine. And when I was doing this, it was raining really hard. Horseshoe came up to today randomly, and horseshoe support, and actually having to do with the North Node symbol. And also I was getting Circle K, and that was coming up from the symbol from Chiron. So, and then Pi came up again, the symbol of Pi. So it's very important, that symbol. And it came up too. I was looking at some shore homes yesterday, and one of the coordinates for one of the areas I looked up came up 0.314. So Pi is definitely important. It keeps coming up over and over every day. 944, 900 came up, 1001 today, 1028, 91149, 232, 1051 again. The planets, Jupiter, Uranus, and Saturn were coming up, as well as their symbols. 1217, 1238, 1241. Yeah, just some of them. And if anything else comes up, I'll let you know. But again, as soon as I started doing this read, it was pouring rain, like really hard. No thunder or anything, it was just pouring. The major arcana from this are the Sun, the Tower, and in this deck, because I use the Syrian Starseed deck for the main cards of this reading. It's solar deity, but it's the Sun, and then the Tower, which is the Tower, and then Transition, which is the Death card, and then Higher Self, which is the High Priestess. And there were 2 wands, 3 cups, 2 swords, no pentacles. So it wasn't about pentacles for the Divine Feminine today. It wasn't about money. It was about activity, thoughts, and heart space mostly. I was getting the Queen of Wands, the Page of Swords, and the King of Cups are the only court cards in the read. Okay, so it's that karmic energy. kids, and then the King of Cups energy, which could be the Divine Masculine, but doesn't have to be. And the Queen of Wands doesn't have to be the karmic, but it does come up in my reads mostly for the karmic. And the Page of Swords can just be news. So in my coding, it was very important and very specific today, and it was all about new beginnings. I was getting number one, there's 9 solar flares coming, but Neptune was related as well. It has to do with the eclipse and Neptune. So I was getting like the eclipse energies are spurring these solar flares from the sun. And the Neptune may have to do with the ETs landing on Neptune. But I was getting ETs, Neptune, the eclipse, and 9 solar flares. And it having to do with the ancient ones, because I kept getting aged flames, or age of flames, and the solar powered, the solar flares, and the 9, and the ETs. And also relating the ETs to Mercury. And I went in to try to get some more information about the aspects of the planets, but I was just getting information about Neptune and Uranus. And one of the messages I read for Neptune in Pisces was surrender to fate. And then Maya, which is illusion, which I'm not familiar with, but it was saying to surrender. The Neptune, and Neptune was coming up in my codes. And then the Uranus and Taurus, which also Uranus in Aries. So Uranus in Aries was helping you to break free, and then the Uranus in Taurus was the drive of the worldly genius. So getting out all your messages and whatever your creativity is going to be, your mission. And and I'd read online, it was just the header, I didn't go into it, but it happened to be Leo King, but about the Jupiter trining Neptune on August 19th, which is right after the Mercury goes direct on the 18th. So my abilities and the Divine Feminine's abilities are increasing. So your ability to see things is increasing to the umpteenth degree, okay? And so you're going to be able to see these solar flares. And some of the examples of that have to do with, and I can show you some of my pictures, but the sun has just been unbelievable, and the rainbow color around it every day. It's not the way the sun used to look. And yesterday when I was out on my deck, I usually take a couple pictures when I'm lying out in the sun for a little bit. And there was a spider web from my deck post to the top of the deck. Not the ground deck, but the railing. And there was 2 spider webs, just single webs. So I took pictures of them, and then I didn't look at the pictures again until today, and all of the spider webs are highlighted with rainbows around them. And I can actually, if I can pull one up, I can show you so you see it. It's very obvious. It's not like hard to see at all. There's some other stuff I got too I wanted to show you last night. I'm going to show you the deck first, because alright, look at this. You see the rainbow along the spider web from the post to the railing. And I'll show you another one. It's just kind of amazing. Like, check out all that energy. Look at the streaks of energy there. Okay? That's from the spider webs. You see that rainbow coloring? That's from the spider webs. And also I've been seeing more the auras around objects when I'm out walking. So you might want to practice doing that to help you see more. And here last night, this was incredible too. It was too cloudy here to see any spray of stars or anything last night, but literally, you know, if it's a new moon, it should be a dark sky, and if you think about it, Have you ever tried to take a picture at night at a new moon with, with a dark sky? You don't get anything. And this is what I got last night. All right, I'm going to show you some more of the pictures. Let's see, just see a good one for you. But you see, look at the circles. There's circles. I don't know how well you can see it on here, but there's circles. I'll do it this way. There's circles overlapping in the sky. And they're not just in one picture. It was like in all the pictures. And you actually, I'm actually seeing rainbow colors in it as well. And you know my flash is only going to go like 10 feet or so. It's not going to light up the sky. But look how light the sky is. I mean, and look at, you can see the big circle, how it comes in front of the tree. Check it out. Okay? And here's a good one. And this one too. Look at the circles overlapping. And I'm actually seeing, and you won't be able to see it on here, but I actually saw characters in most of these pictures, but they're very vague, so it's hard for you to see if you don't see the original shot. And look at the movement in this. This was not me moving the cameras. This is what came up in this energy. Okay, so be aware, it's not just me seeing this. You guys can see it too, because if I can capture it on film, or not on film, but on my, okay, check it. Yeah, really cool. I'm actually going to show you that first one again, because that's where I saw. In this one, there is I see and it's very detailed, but it's very vague, so I don't know if you can see it or not, but in the middle circle, and it's mostly to the middle of the picture, and it takes up about half or more of the picture, I actually can see a woman there with big blonde hair, relaxing, like, like the man in the moon, sitting in the moon against the side of that middle circle. And it also kind of looks like a soldier drinking coffee. But I don't know if you can see it. If you can on there, let me know. Alright, so you're able to see more. And then ultimately I was getting this solar voltage, or the solar flares, was about, it had to do with Neptune, and I'm not positive on how Neptune's related. But from, these flares are coming from the eclipse energy for new beginnings. And I was definitely, it was related to the half moon, which is right when Mars goes direct on August 27th, 28th. Okay, so August 27th is right when the half moon is, and that's when Mars goes direct, which is that new beginning energy, right? Because it propels us forward. So it's very important. The ETs were coming up again. And then as soon as I wrote this, one of my twin friends just brought up that she just passed a new street she'd never been to before that was Union something. So then I go back into my read, and I'm getting in the read, separate from the codes and separate from the sand art, solar flares and spider webs. And that was tying back to the deck rainbow, because that was a spider web where I was seeing the energy. And dreams of fighting another day. To end pain and inspiration in burning the web. And then I was getting grid lines are flaring. So it's showing us, not only with the spider webs you're going to see this energy, but you'll see it with grid lines, you'll see it with power lines, you'll see it with just with any communications, because anything that has energy going through it. Huge passion comes from the World Wide Web in order to end pain. So communications around the world, you're seeing that web, that grid, okay? It's being illuminated. Planting a stick in the ground with the right hand and working with energy in the left hand. So keeping grounded with the right hand, and left energy is working with energy. You know, so the feminine energy is etheric energy. The divine masculine is keeping it grounded. So but the divine masculine is seeing the growth in this now, which they hadn't before. Power lines are bridging messages of truth, quickly return to the inspired. I'm seeing a brick bridge. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow, 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 follow. There's 5 follows. Follow the yellow brick road. And that was at 114. So the twins are choosing the path less followed to Trinity, I was saying, and I was being shown to accentuate the E, to Trinity. Bridging, giving, and receiving, teaching and learning through quick communications. Okay, so when I was just being told, the emphasis on E was just like I tell you, like when I see in my cards the E tower, it's about the divine feminine's heart space. Just like the man cave for the divine masculine, the E tower is the feminine's heart. So you're choosing the path less followed to Trinity, E, okay? Bridging, giving and receiving, teaching and learning through quick communications. Then I was getting the King of Wands energy. It was showing this Hierophant being stabbed in the heart, but by God. Okay? So it's getting God's hand or God's judgment to the establishment was coming down. And it was literally going from this Hierophant's left shoulder through his heart and down his body like that. That's how the sword of God, the Excalibur, was going into this Hierophant representing establishment. But the King of Wands was looking away, pretending not to see this Hierophant and what he was doing. Even though the King of Wands may not have been guilty of doing anything, it's coming up that the King of Wands knew, but was turning a blind eye, so to speak. But definitely seeing the hand of God now coming down across this Hierophant's body, God's judgment to the establishment, that we can't keep patching things up and covering up, to let go. Forgiving and learning. There was a reunion coming in, and as this was unfolding, it was like there may be a reunion like came up earlier last night in the read that I was just telling you about, where the divine masculine is offering something healthy to appease their karmic. So it doesn't have to be a sexual reunion. It could just be some kind of reunion to kind of hold them over. And then what I realized in this read, which was getting realer by the moment, and the card that came up for this right then was surrender, that some of the divine masculines, there's a couple different scenarios. So some of the divine masculines are out in the woods grounding, which I know for a fact that a lot of the twins do use the woods as a grounding mechanism, so they do a lot of hiking and walking. But I'm seeing that there's certain divine masculines that are in the woods with a friend, putting their feet in the grass. And I was also getting a moose or a deer, or actually, taking a dump in the woods, but also struggling. So somebody might be constipated, but being stuck in the woods and having to poop. And also seeing someone struggling to get their backpack off or gear off in time to have to go to the bathroom. But I was also getting that the divine masculine is seeing shadowy people floating, and it can be the divine feminine as well, but being able to see without seeing. So the divine masculine is being awakened. They're seeing the Holy Grail, basically. And I was seeing 2 sapphires in gold as well. And then I was getting the third eye chalice. So when you do meditation, some people actually use a chalice in the third eye. And as the Kundalini rises and crosses like this through the chakras, it ends up as the 2 energies, the divine masculine and feminine, in basically this chalice, right? Which is that cup, the Holy Grail. So what I was seeing, this Holy Grail, where the Kundalini rises and ends up in the cup, in the third eye, in the crown. And some of the Divine Masculines are going to be having full Kundalini awakenings spontaneously and orgasming, maybe in public. It could be in the woods. But I was also getting lifting weights too, with the sealed rings on the weights, and losing control suddenly. So someone could have dropped weights and hurt themselves, but I was also getting this mostly about a Kundalini awakening where they lose control suddenly and have a spontaneous orgasm. And some of them may even have a friend with them asking if they're okay. And actually, they may have shouted also because they orgasmed. So there may be some situations where a Divine Masculine had this experience in front of people and is going to be very embarrassed about it. And also I just got literally dropped a load. So that could have to do with this spontaneous Kundalini awakening, but also have to do with going to the bathroom. So it could be one or the other. It could have to do with just having to pee in the woods too, or somewhere outside. But I was definitely getting the woods. Recently, there is clarity of a new beginning. And I was literally getting when the 6 rays of light shone down upon him as, you know, that literally was coming up. The angels sing in a passionate release. The foundation of this is the King of Swords, the Divine Masculine, understanding what union is now. He has an idea anyway. But the Wheel of Fortune's been slowed, and sometimes I've been seeing that the Wheel of Fortune, when it's reversed, is just showing in slow motion. Okay, so things are being seen carefully in slow motion so that it really sinks in, that energy. Okay, so, and that's kind of what I was getting. The wheel is slowed in full exposure of the air sex with the twins. So what the Divine Feminine may have been talking about, the Divine Masculine is now getting it. Okay, but there's a challenge here. I was getting the karmic energy, the Queen of Wands, is now all of a sudden defensive about some kind of injustice in court or in a divorce situation, and now moving on to find their self, standing their ground, integrating a divorce or a breakup. And the signs that I was getting specifically related to this were Sagittarius, Aquarius, Libra, and Leo. So in the present moment, and this was this morning, it's like the Divine Masculine is getting the third party thing now. He understands why that was and what the Divine Feminine was talking about. And now it's tugging at his heartstrings. And now he's like ready to ride in, because you can realize if he's just had a passionate awakening, a Kundalini awakening, like ready to ride in from out of nowhere, jealous and out of control, to see things another way, to learn and let go, and meditating, and continue to do that work. Learning that his third-party fantasy is actually real, and quickly stealing away from, I was getting in this situation Aquarius, Sagittarius, but it doesn't have to be, but that was one of the signs or the 2 of the signs I was picking up on. So quickly stealing away from an Aquarian Sagittarius. Energy, to passionately rush in to the Queen of Pentacles energy, so the very grounded female energies. It doesn't have to be an earth sign, I'm just talking about energies here. So very grounded Queen of Pentacles in his magician embodiment, in this eclipse energy, to talk about wounds and holding on to money issues and his harsh truths. So it may be different for each, but you get the understanding of it. And then I was getting soon the Divine Masculine's feeling in love at work, and no longer seeing eye to eye at work, unable to focus due to new love and love of self. Okay, so the Divine Feminine is the Tower, and the message I was getting is the Divine Feminine found his button, and that and coming out of isolation. Then I was getting a child or friendly offer. a child or a friend is like offering love or their friendship, and then the Divine Masculine having a huge epiphany of the dysfunction of maybe his parents or his own relationship. I was being shown specifically the Queen of Swords and the Knight of Swords back to back and reversed. So how negative the energy he was in. The card for healing family issues came up, and this energy was right on top of that. So it really could have to do with his own parents, could be a sibling and his partner, depending on what their situation is, or his own relationship. But something that was very, very toxic. You can only imagine, that energy. The Queen of Swords reversed and the Knight of Swords reversed, back to back. That's definitely like a face-off, right? Where they want to kill each other. So he's having an epiphany about what he's exposed his innocent children to, or what he, as an innocent child, was exposed to as a child. And then also the cards engagement and separation also came up. So it's again repeatedly showing for some of the Divine Masculines getting out of one relationship and getting right into something else. I was definitely getting that around the Divine Feminine is the Divine Masculine going through a huge portal. And the family just totally getting turned around. But he's also like in another world. He's feeling like he's in another otherworldly. Okay, just all of a sudden everything's really weird, and like I said, seeing shadowy figures and things like that. The Divine Masculine needs, or the Divine Feminine needs to clear blocks of the King of Cups being weak. Okay, so if someone comes in very loving to you, the Divine Feminine needs to clear blocks about thinking they're weak when they're coming in very lovingly and wanting to give, because a lot of the Divine Feminines may have had that block in their other relationships, wanting someone who seems stronger or more harsh, more disciplining, or someone who might yell or not be loving. Okay, so it's getting past the Divine Feminine wounds of that to make sure you're open and loving to the King of Cups energy, which is going to come in very loving, and not see it as being weak, or the Divine Masculine trying to put on a show and separation to get on your good side. Okay, so that's the Divine Feminine wound. New beginnings and nature come up. So it's about allowing things to happen naturally, but new beginnings are here, I'm telling you. Okay? You're, as the Divine Feminine, you are the High Priestess with the keys. You have to figure out what your keys are to your union. And then I was just getting, when I said that, I was getting some kickback from you guys. So don't put pressure on yourselves. Just know that everything's happening naturally. All right? You're not doing anything wrong. Just continue. Your work is the spiritual work. It's the meditation. It's the keeping yourself grounded and protected. Okay? That's the work. Justice of the higher self. The Divine Feminine is now over loss, giving and receiving now, staying present for the Justice card, truth and balance in their higher self, staying at 0 point. And then it was like the solution to the read card was the higher self. Okay, so staying connected to your higher self. And then the after card was the twin flames, literally the 2 flames in the Syrian deck. So moving past wounds in the aftermath of the Tower without options. So for the Divine Masculine, he may have just had a Tower experience, either an epiphany or literally a Kundalini orgasm spontaneously. But there was definitely Tower energy going on for the Divine Masculine. And then seeing, it's like, it's kind of funny, it was being shown to me like he goes through this spontaneous Kundalini awakening, all of a sudden having an epiphany about everything the Divine Feminine was telling him, and then his kids being difficult at that moment and just saying they're going with their mother. And so like him rushing off. Okay, so I was getting that some Divine Masculines may be shipping their kids back to their mother, whether it be temporarily or deciding on that they need to live with their mother because they're being bad, and needing to, because he needs to learn and be inspired to make a bold move with his twin. So in summary, passionate new beginnings with a message and eruption through portal, and this is separate from everything, this is just a summary message I got. Passionate new beginning with message and eruption through portal. In the moment, heaven exposed to the central sun. Okay, exposing the karmic energy to the new love of the King of Cups, or the Divine Masculine, who is now meditating in his higher self with his twin. Okay, so there's definitely some unions coming in. Doesn't mean it's happening today. So like I said, you know, Mercury and Mars are still retrograde, but it's showing you the process of this. And for those of you who've been going this for several years, you know that you've come a long way. You feel it, okay? And know that, you know, stay in your high energy. That's what it's calling you to do. Stay in your knowing, okay? It is here. All the planets are going to be propelling you forward. So we have Mercury going direct on the 18th of this month, and then Mars going direct on the 27th, and then Saturn, I believe, is the 6th of September. Oh yeah, that's Saturn. So you're having all of those three planets, which are major, to be going direct again, right? Because Saturn is the taskmaster. And then at the end of September is why a huge group of unions will be coming in after that, because Pluto then goes direct on September 30th. And 1010's been coming up a lot too. It's like, and I had gotten this last year, that October would be like it's like a buffer month. It's like seeing the inlet from the ocean. Okay, there's a reprieve in October to then go full force in November. Because then, that makes sense, because in October, Venus goes retrograde again. I think it's October 18th. Okay, and so I'm not sure how long the retrograde is. I know it's longer than Mercury. So, and then it has shadow periods. So it's at least into November, if not into December. But it may actually be that retrograde of Venus period where the unions are supposed to happen. But it's not to say that unions aren't going to be happening now. But I think it's more trickling now. Some unions will be coming in. And there may be a lot of contact with your twin between now and the end of September. Like starting this process. Okay, so I'm going to pull some cards now for you as well, for both the Divine Masculine and Feminine, for further confirmation for you guys. So for the high energy, the Ascension deck, and it's just coming up as 4747 right now. And 47 is the Seven of Cups, okay? Which other people see as illusions, but twins should know by now that it's not illusions. It's actually your reality, okay? Seven of Cups. It's about your dreams. That you can have anything you want. Okay, so for the organic Divine Masculine and Feminine Twin Flames, what is the message? For the organic Divine Masculine and Feminine Twin Flames, what is the message? We have Pallas Athena and the Gold Ray of Christ. And Archangel Metatron's Retreat, what's been coming up a bunch this week, is on the bottom. Number 28 is the Twins. 28 is the Two of Wands, Two of Flames. And it's also that masculine energy, because it's 28-1. It comes out as very masculine, focused, driven energy, coming from the inner strength and the outer feminine energy. Okay, so it's like that propulsion. Okay, from the divine feminine energy into the drive, the masculine energy, which is coming now. It's like the planets are going forward, that propulsion. So what came out first is Pallas Athena. It's number 48, which is the going within card. It's the Eight of Cups, walking away, right? Or it could be going back for some, but walking away, and it's really about the going within, leaving behind everything you've built to find the Holy Grail, basically. So Pallas Athena is known as the goddess of truth and wisdom. Okay, and that's trust, right? That's the Justice card, is all about truth and wisdom. She is Lord of Karma for the fourth ray. And I'm getting now to the number 4, it's the throne. Okay, So if you take the 4 and you turn it upside down, it's a chair. It's the twins' throne. So the 4th ray holds the sword of truth to show humanity the way. Although she wields her sword for the highest ideals in divine truth, she prefers to use this wisdom to settle disputes. Your guidance is to follow her example. See the higher perspective in all areas of conflict and draw on your abundance of wisdom and tact to communicate with everyone concerned. And use the sword of truth to point the divine way forward. And the affirmation is, I use the sword of truth to lead the way. Okay? So be in your integrity and truth. And when you have to meet and deal with people where it may be a triggering type of situation, to just be reminded to stay present. When you're staying present and being observer of yourself, you're able to stay at 0 point and not let things get heated at any moment and not react. Okay, you can respond, but don't react. The other card that came up is the Gold Ray of Christ, which is number 5. That's the expansion energy of change, excitement. I was talking about this too with a friend today, about the 5 energy. The 5 energy, you have to be careful because 5 is a great energy. It's all about excitement and romance and vacations and fun stuff, right? The salesman who's really attractive because he knows a lot about, or a little about a lot of different things, so it makes him really interested and fun to talk to. But as we all know that we don't want to go to the negative extreme, I want to bring this up about going to the positive extreme. If you get too excited, you're going to stress other people. And I've even seen this when twins come into union and they're doing their blogs. That some of them, because they're in such high energy and they're so excitable, how much that high energy can stress other twins. And then I'm seeing the progression of certain couples who are then realizing that energy and then tempering that energy. Because even with a twin, when you're in union, if you go to that extreme excitement energy, you're going to fall, okay? Because it's the other end of the other end of the 5 spectrum. You know, that's extreme excitement and then the extreme boredom, basically, of the 5. I'm showing the 5 in this card is at the top of the number. I don't normally see this. All the numbers in this deck are in the point of the triangle, but I never noticed that before. So this 5 is being shown inside the point of the triangle, pointing up, the expansion. Okay? So blessings pour onto you when you choose this card of unconditional love. The gold ray of Christ is held within the cosmic heart at the 9th dimension. And we brought up 9 solar flares today. Okay, so we're syncing with that as well. The angels ask you to invoke the love, wisdom, healing, and protection of this beautiful energy. Ask it to flow through you and surround you with its golden light. When you carry this high frequency force in your aura, you can relax and know you're totally safe. Remember to send the gold ray of Christ to others. And the affirmation is, I am the gold ray of Christ. Okay, so you walk with that energy. And so I guess I was guided to bring up the energy issue because you have to be sensitive to other people's ability to take your energy. So if you are a very high vibrational person, your energy is going to be high anyway. But if you get excited within your own high energy, it's going to trigger other people. Okay, and it's going to trigger you. Because if you go to any extremes, you're going to end up balancing that out by going to the other extreme to get back to neutral, to 0 point, to moderation. Okay? That's why we've always been taught to do things in moderation. So we don't get punished for going out drinking and getting drunk and then not being able to live the next day, okay? It's the same principle. So to stay balanced and use the gold Christ energy to protect yourself. To even maybe calm yourself. You just might have felt calmed. That was Jesus coming in to calm you with the gold energy. Okay, so this is for the organic divine feminine and organic divine masculine twin flames. What is the advice from the past life deck? Which is 44. What is the advice for the twins? We have baby and imprisonment or slavery. So at the bottom of the deck is wars and battles. Okay. So I'm getting British energy, but it's also Confederate energy, or just different countries, the wars and battles that have been fought between them. I was just getting a telescope too, because you know they're using that for the gun, the bullseye. The telescopic vision and telepathic vision is what I'm picking up from it. But you know the what's it called, the not telescope, but the, I guess it's telescopic lens, the eye in the weapon, but that's what's coming up, as well as just a telescope in general, but looking up into the stars. And the guy is holding this weapon, I'm noticing, and it has, I forget what they're called, the knife on the end of the rifle, but he's not even looking where he's shooting. And then I'm getting spouting off at the mouth. So don't, and it's reminding you not to react. You know, wars and battles, that's how they start, by reacting. Letting go. It's like, I'm seeing like, plant yourself in one spot and stand your ground. And don't react. Stay in your observer, in your 0 point. But that's the underlying energy, because it's all been, you know, all of our history is about war. We've all been killed and been the killers, right? In all of these wars, whether you believe in past lives or not, it's in your DNA. From your parents and their parents. Everyone's been the killer and the killed. The cards that came out are the baby. Okay? And it also comes up in the nest. There's a baby in the nest because in one of my sand arts I was just seeing a baby too. So it's either that someone may be having a baby, someone may be getting pregnant, or someone, it's a rebirth, which it is, because the Divine Masculine is definitely going through this portal, this Kundalini awakening. And this may be for the Divine Feminine for some, depends on what your journey is. But either way, a new baby is that new spark of life. And I'm seeing 4 hands in the picture. One of the mother, one of the father, and then the baby's 2 hands. And I'm just noticing, look at the 2 fingers that the baby's holding up. I was noticing the 2 fingers. That's hard to hold up those 2 fingers. Can't even do it. These 2 fingers. And this is the left, for the baby it's the left hand, and the right hand is setting free. The Divine Feminine is making connection, and the Divine Masculine is releasing themselves, freeing themselves. He's reaching out to the Divine Feminine, the mother energy. Some Divine Masculines may be actually reaching out to their mothers, okay, for help. So baby bird, and there's a nest, so could be baby birds too. Or someone calls them their little baby bird. Also getting imprisonment and slavery came out. Okay, so it's all about jail. Being in the mental prison has been coming up a lot, but there's also people who have been in prison, arrested, whether it's DUIs or whatever the case may be. Could be for not paying child support. And just feeling like a slave. Some people may be feeling like a slave to their child. They can't deal with it in a proper way. So I'm seeing I'm seeing the portal. And literally having a baby is a portal, right? The baby just came out through the portal. And then in this, look at the portal on the back of the card. Okay? And then you see all these lines, all the energetic lines on the ceiling running into this portal, the grid lines. To feel into this energy. It's like the different pipes, they're the different energy. It's all gathering together to build a very strong, grid, a strong energy line going through the portal to keep it open. And to get those who are lined up out of jail, out of their mental prisons. Okay? And then for Journey of Love. Okay, Journey of Love. For the organic, divine masculine, divine feminines. Organic, divine masculine, divine feminines. Organic, divine masculine, feminine, twin flames. Okay, for the organic, divine masculine, divine feminine, twin flames, what is the advice? What is the advice? What is the advice for the organic, divine masculine, divine feminine, twin flames? Okay. Contemplation. And that's number 69, which by the way is the Ace of Pentacles, which is the new start of perfect contentment. The bottom of the deck is 63, which is the light field. Okay. And for contemplation, and it's beautiful rainbow colors in this card, 69. And I'm being guided to bring up magenta too, because I was actually seeing magenta coming from the energy lines yesterday. Mostly I was just seeing clear auras, but I was definitely picking up magenta energy from the energy lines. So for 69, and also you notice, the 69 is a perfect fit together. It's the two sides of the coin, right? The masculine and feminine twins. Contemplation reads, within you there's a question arising. When you get the question right and the answer, I'm sorry, I'm going to start over. When you get the question right, the answer will be self-evident. But you have to plunge your consciousness deep within to find the right question, to articulate it clearly and understand what it is that you're really asking. That question within you is actually a divine gift of awakening. Okay, so this is confirmation, all right, that there's awakenings going on right now. It is your future awakened self waiting to be found and calling to you too. Let the question arise through dreams, dance, meditation, sleep, yoga, time in nature, swimming in the ocean, bathing in aromatherapy bath, or receiving a hot stone massage. The question holds within in the next unfolding petal of the lotus of your being. This oracle brings you an invitation to enter into the mystery of your life and your being, and to follow the biggest question and spirit's connecting that you can summon to emerge from your heart and be expressed through love. Your question may emerge as clear and shining or soft and yielding. A question with no words, with only feeling. Whatever truth emerges, let that be your contemplation. In response to that question, the next step forward will unfold before you, revealed in perfect clarity and perfect timing. This oracle brings you a message from your own divine nature. Come sit with me and breathe. And I'm feeling connection all around me. Come sit with me and breathe. Take a deep breath, guys. Hold it. oracle brings you a message from your own divine nature. Come sit with me and breathe. Make sure to take your very deep breaths. You know, when you hold your breath, it helps your heart rate drop right away. So that's what helps you get into your meditation. I want to ask you something. I want to ask me something. Together there's a conversation that we are to have now, and there will be a beautiful accord between us that overflows into all of your relationships, bringing more understanding and peace. And the poem reads, patterns break through the night in beam of light awakening. Memories of walking on sand, moments, waves replace, waiting for another passerby. Reflections, time to look outward, in, to find those hidden spaces, residing alone, waiting for a twin soul, waiting for myself. Okay, so that was perfect to wrap up and sync everything that we talked about today, to confirm everything. Okay, so there's definitely an awakening going on. Obviously not everyone's coming into union right now. For those of you who've only been going through this, you know, maybe just awakened, you're not going into union right away. However, as people go into union, the union process speeds up. So the more people who come into union, the quicker the followers will end up coming into union. This is what I'm getting. So don't worry and don't feel like you need to compare yourself to anyone else's journey, okay? So those of you who've been doing this for a few years already understand the process. You understand the cycles, the seasons, how you come and go, and you're able to deal with it much better at this point, and you may be actually ready for union. So there's definitely awakening for the divine masculine. Some of them may all of a sudden wake up and reach out. So just be ready, guys. It's definitely here. And stay in your knowing. Keep your energy high. You know, you feel in your knowing one moment, and the next moment you can feel somewhere else. So it's just practicing staying in that moment. You want to stay in your high vibration most of the time. That's mastering this journey. It's being able to stay in your high vibration most of your day without getting triggered. Okay? So, and be kind to yourself, number one. Don't think you need to rush. If you're rushing, that's a wound and a trigger. So you need to let go and be kind to yourself. Ask your heart what it needs to feel loved today. And sometimes that's all you need to do, because yourself just is asking for your attention. Okay? Make sure you drink your water. Make sure you eat properly. Make sure you get some exercise to release that stress. Sorry, I don't know what happened. But anyway, rise and be loved. Bye.